Hello and welcome to all my Flosstube neighbors. I am Chris and this is XrossStitch, and today is Tuesday, October the 17th, 2023, and this is Flosstube number 63. I am so glad to have you here with me today. If you are a new viewer, welcome to the neighborhood. I'm so glad you found me and I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you enjoy enough to subscribe and to ring the bell and give me a thumbs up and all that fun stuff. We have a good time in the neighborhood here at XrossStitch. And if you are a returning neighbor, welcome back. It's good to see you again. I hope you've had a good 2 weeks. You are the lifeblood of this channel, and I'm so grateful that you are taking time out of your day to spend with me. Today's a fun Flosstube. I've got several things to show you. I've been doing a lot of stitching. I stitch all the time now. It's great. It's really great to be able to stitch every single day after not having done so for almost an entire year. And so I have a lot to show you. We're going to take a bit of a departure from the mother saga today. I'm going to give you a little break, and I'm going to talk about my grandma. And we have some giveaways and giveaways for quilters. So if you are a quilter, pay attention because I have some quilt stuff that I will not use. And I'm going to give it away today. But let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I want to thank all of you who have sent me some happy mail since my return. And I want to bring up something specifically. So here we go. I have to look at my notes. So there's going to be a pretty diffuse fade. Diffuse fade. Sounds like a name of a makeup, doesn't it? Diffuse fade. That's what I need to put on my face, is something that will fade the age spots and diffuse the vision. So a few weeks ago, I explained why I call this a neighborhood, and I brought up the whole Mr. Rogers of Flosstube thing that occurred during season 1. And I love that so much. It really, it warms my cold heart. And you all rallied to that once again. I got some wonderful happy mail over the past couple of weeks. First, I got an email, and there is a chart, and I'm sure many of you know it, by Silver Creek Samplers called Fred's Unifying Question. And my dear neighbor June R. sent me a lovely email and sent me a picture of the chart saying that she had found it and she thought of me, and I loved that. And that's the photograph that you're seeing right here, right now. But then I went to the post office and I picked up my mail, and not one, nay verily, 2 of you sent me the actual chart. Deb B sent me this beautiful thank you card, just thanking me for doing Flosstubes, which I think is amazing because it's truly a labor of love, and I'm the one who should be thanking all of you, and I try to do that every single week. But she sent me the chart, and then longtime neighbor Mary Ann J, my dear Mary Ann J sent this beautiful, beautiful card. Isn't that lovely? I almost want to frame it. And she sent me the chart as well. But the pièce de résistance was, and this was all in the same batch of mail, okay? But the pièce de résistance was Pat W. And let me tell you something. Whenever anyone takes the time, we all know how much time it takes to stitch a piece, whether it's a large or small or whatever. And whenever anyone sends me a piece that they have stitched and finished, it's just beyond. I don't know what to say. I can't adequately thank you enough. But Pat W. sent me this. She sent me this beautifully stitched little pillow with the fabric on the back. I'm going to put some photos in right now so you can see it up close. But I am just so touched by this, and I just absolutely love it. I had to start off with a huge thank you to all of you, but most especially you lovely ladies who sent me these wonderful, heartwarming things. And Pat just really outdid herself with this beautiful stitching and beautiful finishing. There's a chenille trim to it. It has the Mr. Rogers fabric on the back with the sneakers and the sweater. And it's just, I love it so much, and it's so near and dear. So all of you, thank you so much. Pat, thank you, just over the moon and beyond. I can't tell you how much all of this means to me, and I'm going to try to keep bearing the torch of good old Fred Rogers, and in being the Fred Rogers of Flosstube. So, so thank you so much. I can't tell you how much it means to me. Thank you. Also, very quickly, I wanted to let you know that it happened. It is happening, people. I can't believe it. I am going to attend StitchCon next year. Yes, StitchCon. XrossStitch is going to StitchCon. I'm kind of nervous. Weekend B. B for brilliant. So I will be there. If you are going to be there, say hello to me. Of course, there will be more about that as we draw nearer to it. It is, it's half a year and more away. But I was very excited to get my invoice, and it is paid, and I have the hotel room booked. I just don't have the flight yet because they're not booking flights out that far from where I am. But I cannot wait to go. And I am so excited to meet other Flosstubers and to meet, hopefully, many of you. I'm just thrilled, and I don't really know what else to say other than I'm a little bit nervous, and I don't know what to expect, and I don't know what to take, and I don't know what to stitch. And but I'm excited. I'm really excited. So help keep my moral support up. Or rather, I should say, give me moral support as we draw nearer to June. So on to the stitching. Today is not a royal flush floss tube, in that I don't have, and for those of you, I kind of coined this phrase last time. A royal flush floss tube is a floss tube in which you have an FFO, a finish, works in progress, and a start. So you have there are actually probably more categories, but I'm just keeping it to those 4. But today is not a royal flush because I don't have one of each of those, I don't think. But I do have some FFOs to show you. A panoply of ornaments. I hope I used that word right, panoply. I think I did. You'll let me know if I didn't. Because I know there's some English teachers out there. I know there are. A panoply of ornaments. A smorgasbord of Santas. No. An ordning of ornaments. I don't know, that makes sense. Anyway, I finished a lot of ornaments, y'all. Here they are. These are the ornaments that I've been working on for the past several weeks. I'm enjoying this so immensely. And now that they're all done, I'm like, wow, I've done a lot. 2 of them are Mill Hill ornaments. They are the Celtic Santas series. You saw me finish Scottish Santa and Welsh Santa. Well, I've backed them now. And I'm doing all those in a kind of an umbery brown color. I thought that worked best with them. And then with the completion of Candy Claws, I have done the entire set of 4 Satsuma Street ornaments in that particular set. I bought all of those 4 together and have completed them. And you'll see how I finished them colorfully on the back so that they coordinate with each one. I want to specifically show Sandy Claus. No, wait, this is a royal flush floss tube. Hold on, record scratch. Because I had FFOs. I did have a finish. The Candy Claus was a finish. But I, in my head, was thinking it was an FFO because I did FFO it. I did have a start. You'll see that in a second. And I did, oh, it is a... I don't think I've ever made that sound in my life. This is a royal flush floss tube. That is so exciting. I'm getting myself tickled. Oh, Lord. And now I've snorted. Oh, all the decorum has just gone out the window, neighbors. Recover, recover, recover. Oh, okay. Yes, those are my ornaments. I've FFO'd them. And here's Candy Claus. I just want to give you a little closer. I had so much fun doing this particular one. I don't know why. I think it was because of that candy cane. That candy cane was fun. And of course, there's a bird. And I now know what the allure of stitching. It's just, I don't know why it's so cute to stitch a bird, but I enjoy them. But he was fun. That beard, doing all that white, gave me a few fits, but I was very happy to finish them all. And I'm so thrilled about them. And I'm going to get more. I'm going to continue because, again, I'm working towards this big cross-stitch ornament tree. And next year, one of my ambitions, one of my goals is to have a Halloween tree. And I had to start something else, but I'm going to show that to you in a minute. But there are my FFOs and my FFOs and my one finish of Candy Claws. And that's the ornament segment for today. Time for a brief interlude. The photos that you saw at the beginning of the video were from a recent trip that we took to go apple picking. We are immersing ourselves in New England autumn, and I love every maple leaf minute of it. It is gorgeous here right now. Gorgeous. And the leaves are really starting to fall in my backwoods. They are, which it makes it even more beautiful because you can see the depth of the forest, and as the light comes through the trees at sunset, it's just gorgeous. But back to apple picking. We went apple picking and we had such a great time. We had fresh hot apple cider and fresh cider donuts. Have you ever had one of those? Oh boy. Oh boy. Let me tell you. It's a good thing I don't live closer to that place, because it would not be good. And then the jack-o'-lantern that's the jack-o'-lantern we carved this year. We had a lovely little evening with our neighbors next door, and we did pumpkin carving. That was a fun time. And we have the front decorated for autumn. I'll show you that next Flosstube, because my next Flosstube will actually be on Halloween. So I'm excited about that. And I have another Halloween sweater to wear. Don't you love this one? Isn't this fun? But those are what the pictures were from at the very beginning of the video. Moving on to my works in progress. I worked on 3 things this week, but only one of them counts as a work in progress. One of them was a finish. That was Candy Claws. And that particular ornament took a lot of time. There were a lot of color changes in it. Always with Satsuma Street, there are a lot of color changes. That's why I love them so much. But that one took a little bit more time than the other ones did. Another one is a start. You'll see that in a moment. But the primary large piece that I worked on these past couple of weeks was the wonderful Nora Corbett Minerva. Minerva in her Bewitching Pixies series. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. It's working up so much faster than a regular full-size Mirabilia. And I did the skin conversion. So here it is. I just love it. I love it. I agonized and pulled every shade of green that I had in my stash, I think, before I landed on these 4 shades. And I was not aware at first that there were 4 completely different shades only in her skin tone in this particular piece. But I laid them out on the table, and through trial and error, I found the combination of greens, and I do think they work beautifully. I love this, the subtle shading from the dark underneath her hat, and the way it gradiates out to where the moonlight will be. You can't see the moon. I haven't stitched the moon yet, but where the moonlight hits her skin, I just love it. I think it complements the fabric beautifully. It does not clash with the more teal shades of green in her dress. I just love it. I love it so much, and I'm so pleased to be working on this. Again, I will not finish this before Halloween, but I do think I'll finish this before the end of the year, and I'm very excited to do so. I just love it. It's so, so good. So if you are stitching this and you, for some reason, want to stitch this, or are going to start to stitch this, and you want my conversion, just email me. I'll send you the conversion that I used, because I love it. I think it works really, really well. There's back stitching in her face. It is, I believe $37.99 is what it calls for that. I'm going to see how that looks, but I'll probably use the mid-tone green, not the darkest, but the next darkest green to do the back stitching on her skin. We'll see how it goes. But that's Minerva, the wonderful Nora Corbett, who many of you met recently. I follow things. I may not be at those retreats, but I'm following them. Jacob Palooza and Stitch West and Stitch North and Stitch everything. I use my Instagram. It's Minerva, Nora Corbett, Bewitching Pixies. I have just noticed that my face is... Why is my chin red? Oh dear. Why is my chin so red? I look like Lady Elaine Fairchild. That's awful. I haven't run into a wall lately. I say lately because it has happened. I don't know. Well, I just did my ablutions before the video, and that involves several things. Shaving and trimming and snipping here and there. The older you get, hair just sprouts up in all sorts of places on your face. And one has to, get rid of it. But I don't know why my chin... Quit poking at it, Christopher. You're just making it redder. Sorry. And then, of course, I had a start, which rounds out the Royal Flush Flosstube. Working towards my next year Halloween tree, I started another Satsuma Street ornament. I just love them. I'm addicted to them. Cat O-Lantern. Cat O-Lantern. This one's adorable. I'm not buying the sets of these like I did with the Christmas ones. I'm going to just pick and choose. I do know she's got lots of cats, so I'm going to probably stitch all the cat ornaments that she has, and I might end up stitching all of them. Who knows? But we'll see. I got that one, and then I also picked up. This one. Wise Guy. This is an owl, a cute little owl with a wizard's hat or a witch's hat, but I love him. And I think he'll look great on the tree next year. But Cat O-Lantern, I'm stitching him now. He will be finished by next video. I promise you that. And this one will be a start for next video. So that'll be some fun Halloween stitching for you next in 2 weeks' time. It's time for story time with Chris, and as I mentioned, we're going to take a brief break in the story just for a little bit of levity and fun. I didn't want to get too maudlin with everything. If you'll remember, when we left off, I had been uprooted and taken to Birmingham to live with my mother after she decided to move to Birmingham, Alabama, 2 hours away from my small town of Sulligent in Northwest Alabama. But we'll come back to that. The reason I wanted to talk about my grandmother today is something happened to us over the weekend that reminded me of her, and I was like, oh, I've got to tell that story on Flosstube. So we were walking in our Main Street area, which is lovely, and we, little shops on both sides, and it's just a wonderful downtown Main Street area in our town. And we had parked in a parking structure. And as we were walking back to the vehicle, I just, walked right up to the car and put my hand in and went to pull, and nothing happened. And nothing happened because I was pulling on the wrong car. I had just walked up to the wrong vehicle. And of course, immediately, I thought about my grandmother. Because Granny, bless her sweetheart, she had a lot going on in her head most of the time. And many of the places that you would, you know, we had Bill's Dollar Store in our little small town, and we had the Piggly Wiggly, and we had an IGA, and this usually it never happened at the IGA, but it happened all the time at Piggly Wiggly, and it happened all the time at Bill's Dollar Store. And the reason it did is because you pulled into those parking spaces at those two places right up to the front of the store. It was like store, sidewalk, parking spots, parking spot, parking spot, blah, blah, blah. And Granny would get in her own head, and she didn't ever drive. Mother or Aunt Clara or Uncle Henry, someone always took Granny places because Granny didn't drive. Granny used to laugh. She said the last car that she drove was a Model T Ford, and that was the only car that she knew how to drive. And I believe her. She was not about to learn how to drive a modern car. And she would come out of the store with her purchases and probably still be, you know, fiddling with her coupons or doing something or just not thinking. Or it was because of her headscarf. We'll get to that in a minute. And she would go to the wrong car. Now, people didn't lock their cars in my hometown usually. So Granny, on more than a few occasions, would go out and get in the wrong car. And she'd sit there, and then she'd turn over, and Mother wouldn't be in the driver's seat, or Uncle Henry, and she'd realize her mistake. And then she'd get out of the car really fast, and she'd find our little silver Pinto. Mother had a silver Pinto. Thank goodness it never blew up on us. We were big University of Alabama fans. Roll Tide! And she had a silver Pinto with a red interior. Because the colors of University of Alabama are red, white, and gray. There's a gray in there too. Most people don't know that, but there is a silvery gray. So she'd get in the wrong car, and then she'd get back to the Pinto, and we'd all have a big laugh over it. Well, one day Granny opened the car door and got in, and there was somebody in it. I know it, and I'm thinking about one specific time that happened. It probably happened more than once, but this particular time, she got in, she sat down, she shut the door, and she was just in her own head. And the gentleman sitting next to her was like, "Ma'am, where do you need to go?" And of course, she, you know, because I guess he was willing to take her. You know, everybody knew everybody. I don't know if she knew him or not. I'm sure she did somehow or whatever. But he was very nice, and they had a laugh on it. And the funny thing is that Mother and I were in the Pinto watching this occur. And my mother was like, "She's going to do it. She's going to do it. Yep, there she goes. She's sitting in. Yeah, let's see how long it takes her to get out of the car." But anyway, there's no great ending to that story. I just wanted to share that with you for a moment of levity. The little capper that I have of this, and I hope that I can find the picture. And if I don't, I'm going to cut this part out, so I'm going to have a brief pause. The capper to this story, well, it's not a capper. She used to wear this headscarf to keep the wind out of her ears, she used to say. And that was how everybody knew my grandmother. She, like the Queen of England, she went around everywhere in that headscarf. And it was immortalized one year. We had yearbook day occurred. I think it was my sophomore year in high school. And everybody got their books, and about second period, you know, you get the books first thing in the morning, you get them in your homeroom. And about second period, all my friends were running up to me going, "Look, look." And in the ad for the Piggly Wiggly, my Aunt Ola and my grandmother were captured forevermore. And here is the shot. Oh, my grandmother, she was amazing. I love you, Granny. Moving on to giveaways, we had 2 charts last week, graciously offered to my neighbors from the wonderful Amanda at Cobweb and Rose, designer of Cobweb and Rose. She is on Etsy, of course. Her link will be below. She has offered up charts in the past, and she did most recently when I returned, and these were just perfect for this month. The first being Autumn House. Autumn House. This is going out to 2 people. They are Amanda Haynes and Mrs. Stitches. She is a Flosstuber as well, Mrs. Stitches. Check her out. But congratulations to the 2 of you. Please send me an email and I will send that PDF chart to you. The next chart was Spooky Cat. You know, I love a spooky cat. Spooky Cat. And the winner of this one is, or winners are, I Swear I Am Stitching. That's the name that came up. So if you are I Swear I Am Stitching, email me. You want a chart. And longtime neighbor and dear sweet person, Georgie McDougall. Congratulations, Georgie, and I Swear I Am Stitching. All of you, please send me an email to XrossStitch@gmail.com. It's right, but there's a much fast hair. You know, this is a occupational hazard of having the Burt Reynolds thing going on. Yeah, you'll just be talking, and all of a sudden it'll work right down into your teeth. It happened to me the other day when I was in a store, and I was talking to the lady who owned the store, and I was trying to just tell her how we just moved here. I was trying to be so eloquent and nice and polite, and a big honking mustache hair just worked it, and I talked with it in my mouth as it moved all the way. And then of course I left the store and I was doing the cat thing, trying to get it out. Oh, it was awful. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, email me, chriscrossstitch@gmail.com. 3 S's, X for cross stitch, and I'll get those to you immediately. And we're doing another giveaway. I told you that I had a giveaway for quilters, and I do. I'm trying to clear out some things that I had collected during season 1. This is kind of a hodgepodge of a giveaway, but there are wonderful things in here that I think some of you will really, really enjoy. The first, and I don't have photographs of these, so I'm just going to hold them up and I'll try to not have them glare. The first is a pattern. I received this from Fat Quarter Shop. This is an It's So Emma. This was featured in Stitch Quarterly, their Stitch Quarterly. This is from itssoemma.com, and this is Oh Dear. I thought this would be good for, it's an adorable little Rudolph Oh Dear, and I thought that would be great for you to start on for your holiday stitching. So Oh Dear. Keyword for this is going to be deer, D-E-E-R. Deer, which I have in my yard almost every other day. Next, and this was in a package of things that our neighbor Mary Ann J sent me. This is a lovely chart by Stitching with the Housewives. This is Clovis and Stanley. Clovis and Stanley. It's I think Clovis is a crow, and he is in a cornfield with sunflowers, and that's adorable. I won't ever stitch this, but it's really, really cute. A nice autumn stitch. Keyword for this is going to be Clovis. Clovis. I love that. Clovis. I think there was a Clovis in Sologent. Here you go, quilters. Here we go. I will never use these, but one of you will. And it's an assortment of foundation paper blocks. Again, these came from Fat Quarter Shop, the lovely people at Fat Quarter Shop. One is a small one that is, and I don't know what this means. I really don't, but you will. Flying geese, a 1 1/4 by 2 1/2 inch flying geese, a 5 inch square in a square. Square in a square, that what? Oh, it's a square in a square, I get it. Snail trail. This is 6 inch blocks, snail trail, and a 6 inch square in a square. So all 4 of those are, I will put in a packet and send to you, and the keyword for this is quilt. Quilt. And the last, but certainly not least, these are goodies. These are 2 very vintage booklets. And one is Leisure Arts, Fresh Cuttings by Paula Vaughn. This is old school, y'all. These are 2 lovely, I hope you can see it. I'll try to not, the ring light's making it glare. It's basically a basket with a lot of beautiful flowers, lots of back stitching, a trowel, etc. And then there's another one of a rocking chair. Looks like it's on a front porch with a basket of flowers at the foot of that. Very kind of country antique-y stitching. And then the next one is Alma Lynn Presents I Love Cross Stitch. This is a book full of, they're kind of Holly Hobby-esque, colorful scenes. Little girls and little children and what have you. I'll just never, I love the antiquity of this, and someone's even written in hand notes in here. It's just a little bit of stitching history. I love this. So if you're interested in getting having these 2, let's do vintage. Vintage. Keyword vintage. And I'll send both of these to you. With all of my giveaways, please be 18 years of age or older so I can ask you for your address. Please be a subscriber to the channel. Please like the video. And don't use, in your comment, when you put the keyword, don't use any words like giveaways or freebie or anything like that. You know how to do it. And we will be drawing those on Halloween in 2 weeks' time. Wrapping it up today, we're going to wave at the neighbors. A few of you have sent me some beautiful finished pieces. So I've started collecting things again for a Neighbor's Corner, and we'll do a big Neighbor's Corner episode probably in November. I think that's a great time to do it. One of the 2 or 3 videos in November will be a Neighbor's Corner episode. So if you've sent me pictures and you know who you are of things that you finished, oh, and there's one beautiful one that I can't wait to show you with an antique box, and oh, her family's in, it's wonderful. But that's coming. But today I'm shouting out, I'm waving at Corinne M. I had to look. I couldn't remember the last initial. Corinne M. sent me this gorgeous photograph of a road near her home here in our home state, and I can say that now, in our home state of New Hampshire. So this is what we are surrounded by now, all of you in other parts of the country. And we love it. So Corinne, thank you so much for that. It is stunningly beautiful. And I appreciate your sending it to me. I appreciate your being a viewer and a neighbor. So thank you for that. That's today's video. I hope you had a good time. I certainly did. I certainly had a good laugh. If anybody were outside this window watching me do this, they'd just see me talking to air and laughing. I think they'd think I was crazy. Well, I am crazy, but I think they'd think I'd be, hauled off to the state asylum. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful 2 weeks ahead. I hope you get a lot of stitching in. I hope that you are enjoying the autumn, wherever or whatever that might mean to you, or spring if you are in the southern hemisphere of this great world of ours. I hope you have a restful, happy couple of weeks ahead until we see each other next time. And I just want to leave you with a brief thought. Light a candle, say a prayer, whatever you do for peace. Peace in this world. Take care, and bye-bye.